Have you ever filmed something and then thought to yourself, the whole mood of my film needs to really be changed, or this scene needs to be changed because it doesn't quite match up with the way that I think it should be, or it's not the correct time of year, it's too sunny, or it's summer and you wanted it in autumn, or something like that? Well, let's find out how we do that. What's happening, guys? Dan Debenham here. We are looking at changing the colours of stuff within Premiere Pro. So you've filmed something already, you've filmed it in summer, but really this is sort of supposed to be slightly autumnal or fall, or you want a car to be a different colour, or you want a t-shirt to be a different colour, or a shirt or a hoodie or something, or the clothing or a bag or whatever. It just needs to be a colour to fit in with the whole story that you're trying to tell. Well, you can do that within Premiere Pro. So, without further ado, let's get into Premiere and let's have a look how we do it. Okay, so right, now that we're into Premiere Pro, what I've done is I've pre-color corrected this footage just to set it off, because it was all filmed in log, so it is now color corrected to how I want it to be. But we actually want these branches, these trees behind me, I want these to be a little bit more autumnal, so I want them to be a slightly browner colour to what they actually are now. So the way that we do that, and it's pretty clever how it's done. So we've done our colour correction, we've gone through basic colour correction here, it's all done, everything's how we want it to be, so we can close that down. Go into creative, you can see that I've changed some of these shadows and tints here brilliantly, no problem at all with that. We're going to curves, and I've got a curve on here which is what's causing this all to happen. So what we've got here is we've got hue and saturation, and we've got hue versus hue, and we've got hue versus luma. So effectively what these do is these allow you to select this colour, or sample a colour that you want to change, and then go through and change it. So the first one we'll do is we'll do hue and saturation. So it's hue versus saturation. We click on that, brings up the little eyedropper tool, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sample some of the colour. Now I'm going to add a point both sides. I'm just going to put one in both sides like that, because these 3 points here are the points I'm actually wanting to work with. Now if I move this down, you can see that this is giving me more saturation on that particular colour. So it's saying basically it's allowing me to saturate or desaturate that colour. Next I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing again, but I'm going to take a sample again, and I'm going to put this in points again either side. This will become clear as we go on. And what this does is this one allows me to add in a colour or take a blue or red. So as you can see, I'm going down to purples and I'm going up to reds, as we can see. And then the next one I want to do is hue versus luma. So I want to take a sample again, so I'm going to sample that, I'm going to put points in, and basically what that allows me to do is that allows me to brighten or dim the colour as a whole. Okay, so the trick to this is basically to add in a slight hill to these colours. So what I want to do here, hue versus saturation, is I want to just slightly desaturate it. So I don't want it to be quite as bright as I want it to be, as it wants to be. And here I want to make this another little hill, but I want to bring that up because I want to bring more yellows and more red and brown into this colouring. So as you can see already, as I bring this hill in, it's starting to gather pace. Now you can add points in, so you can make it a little bit more accurate, and you can alter these colours a tiny bit at a time if that's what you're wanting to do, which is what I'm going to try and do now. I'm just going to add another point in there, and I'm going to bring this and make it a tiny bit smoother, and I'm going to put a bit more brown in so that we've got a little bit of brown behind me. And then the hue versus luma, I'm going to bring that up a little bit because I'm going to brighten it slightly because I want to see It is a tiny bit brighter than the background, than the foreground, but not by very much. And the beauty of this is that even though we're altering these colours, and if I just turn those off, you can see how far we've actually gone. Let me just turn that off altogether. Here we go, curves. You can see I'm not actually altering me when I am being played through this. This is just altering those greens behind. So it's not actually making any difference to me whatsoever. It's literally altering that specific sample of colours that we've sampled. It's not going to try and do anything else other than that. And in essence, that is how it's done. And that can be done on absolutely any colour that you've got within your video. So for instance, if I go to hue versus sat and I click on this, you can see it's added points in there, like so. So I can bring that up and I can say, do you know what, let's make that t-shirt a little bit green. And then I can do the same with the saturation, I can sample it again. And I can bring the saturation down so that it's a little bit darker. Let's just bring it back to the beginning. And as you can see, we've now changed the colour of that t-shirt as well as the colour behind, which again gives it a little bit more of an autumnal feel. But yeah, it's still not altering the skin tones, it's still not altering this red, it's still not altering anything else other than it's not altering the other green either. And that can be done for any individual colour within Premiere Pro. It's such a great tool to have in your tool bag to put in there, and then you can pull it out whenever you want. It's not a tool you pull out all the time, but it is a tool that's used quite often the world over, including in Hollywood. A friend of mine owns the 2 cars that are used in the Niki Lauda Rush film, the whatever film that was. And I know for a fact that one of those cars is not the colour it is in the film. I think it's the red one is blue or green, I think it is, and actually it's actually really red. You can't tell, and that's because it's done in the same way that we've done that today in that video, where we've changed the trees behind into a brown rather than green. It's exactly, you can't tell that it is that or should have been that. They just look like they should be, and it just changes your whole mood of the film. So I hope it's been useful for you, and I hope that you can take it away, stir it in your bag, and then when the time comes and you need it desperately, it's there for you to be able to make your footage or your video have a particular look to it. So with that, thanks very much for watching. I hope you did enjoy it. Hope it's useful. Do like and subscribe below, and I will see you guys next time. Peace!